me now is the host of CNBC's The Suze Orman Show, Suze Orman, who is openly gay. And Suze, you know, today you went to your iPhone and you asked Siri the big question on a day like this: is Tim Cook gay? And, well, here's what Siri said.
I think Apple's website should be able to help you with that.
Siri's obviously not up to date on this one.
Yeah, I know. I think everybody in the world knows that Tim Cook is gay, but Siri. So Siri, if you're listening, get with the program.
All right, why is this still big news? I mean, why is it that Tim Cook had to come out and do this?
Well, you know, he obviously felt like he had to come out, but think about it, Aaron. He is the very first CEO of a Fortune 500 company that has said he is gay. Now, you know and I know he can't be the only one. There's got to be other ones out there. So it was a big step for him because it was the one thing that he was not hiding, but that he felt like he needed to do, at least according to what he wrote, to help all those who may need a little bit encouraging to say, it's okay, look, you can do anything you want and still be gay.
And, you know, as you point out, you know, people knew this. In the business world, this was something that people knew to the point that they weren't even sure that they weren't supposed to say something about it, right? People knew. But when you talk about CEOs out there, according to the Human Rights Campaign, there are no openly gay CEOs in the Fortune 1000. Now there is one. Statistically, obviously, there are tens more, perhaps 100. I mean, it is incredible that in this day and age, when you have public opinion turning the way it is, gay marriage becoming the law of the land more and more so every day, that clearly there is still a stigma and there is still a fear.
And what's interesting, though, is that it only takes one person to make that step. You know, if you think back to it, Ellen DeGeneres, when she came out, lost everything. She lost her show, she did everything, but she took that step. And that was the step that led to gay sitcoms and all these other things that came from it. Hopefully today, and it's sad that it has to be that way, but it is that way, Tim Cook's coming out publicly will be the door opener for a lot of other people that so want to come out, but they're just afraid to do so.
And he made that choice. You know, there are others. John Brown from BP. He did not make that choice. He's very open about it now, but at the time he didn't. He was outed by somebody else. In 2007, the New York Times Magazine asked you. I was reading how they asked you. They asked you, "Are you married?" You said, "I'm in a relationship with life." You gave a lovely answer. You didn't talk about your sexuality. They then followed up, meaning what? Do you live with anyone? Then you said, yes, KT is my life partner. You answered the question. That wasn't you made a choice on the fly when you spoke to them, but that was very different. That was sort of someone putting you on the spot.
Well, what was so sad about that interview that was done by Deborah Solomon is that was the time, and the interview was supposed to be really about my book that was coming out called Women and Money, which was a really important book. Now she's announcing to everybody that I'm gay, and what I didn't want is for people to think that I had staged that. I didn't want them to think that it was a marketing thing. You know, Aaron, I never thought that I was in the closet. I've only ever been with a woman, and everybody at CNBC knew I was gay.
Yes.
I mean, I never hid it. But the truth of the matter is this. I was always afraid of that reporter asking me the question outright, are you gay? And then I would have to answer it because how would I know how everybody would respond to that? So on some level, she did me the biggest favor in my life because it was after that article came out that I was able to stand in my truth, in my own power, and I became even more successful than I had been prior to that.
So I was going to ask you, did anyone treat you differently after that interview? It sounds like you're saying yes, but if anything, in a more positive way. Was there anything negative that came from it?
There was nothing that negative came from it, and the positive thing that came from it was me and how I felt about myself. And I hope for Tim Cook as well, he's going to feel more powerful. A more powerful person is a better leader. A better leader makes a better company. And I hope it shows up one day in Apple's performance.